I'm seeing lots of great focus as we start our SEL lesson today. Thank you so much for your eyes, ears, and brains. Today, our task is going to be listening to a story that will get us thinking a bit more about random acts of kindness. So today we're going to start with a story. It's called A Sick Day for Amos McGee.
A Sick Day for Amos McGee. Written by Philip C. Stead. Illustrated by Aaron E. Stead. Amos McGee was an early riser. Every morning when the alarm clock clanged, he swung his legs out of bed and swapped his pajamas for a fresh pressed uniform. He would wind his watch and set a pot of water to boil, saying to the sugar bowl, "A spoonful for my oatmeal, please, and 2 for my teacup." Belly full and ready for the workday, he'd amble out the door. Every day, Amos waited for the number 5 bus. "Next stop, City Zoo," the bus driver would call. "6 a.m., right on time," he'd reply. Amos had a lot to do at the zoo, but he always made time to visit his good friends. He would play chess with the elephant, who thought and thought before making a move. Run races with the tortoise, who never ever lost. Sit quietly with the penguin, who was very shy. Lend a handkerchief to the rhinoceros, who always had a runny nose. And at sunset, read stories to the owl, who was afraid of the dark. One day, Amos awoke with the sniffles and the sneezes and the chills. He swung his achy legs out of bed, curled them back again, and said, I don't think I'll be going to work today." Meanwhile, at the zoo, the animals waited for their friend. The elephant arranged his ponds and polished his castles. The tortoise stretched his legs and limbered up. The penguin sat patiently all by himself. The rhinoceros worried that his allergies were worsening. The owl perched atop a tall stack of storybooks, scratching his head with concern. "Where is Amos?" the animals wondered. Later that day,
Hang on just a second, boys and girls. It looks like our video has stopped working. 1 second, please.
the elephant prepared a game of chess. Amos thought and thought before making a move. "I'm too tired to run races today," said Amos to the tortoise. "Let's play hide and seek instead." The tortoise hid inside his shell. Amos hid beneath the covers. Amos yawned. "I could use a nap." The penguin sat quietly, keeping Amos's feet warm. Achoo! Amos awoke with a sneeze. The rhinoceros was ready with a handkerchief. "I'm beginning to feel much better, thank you," said Amos to his friends. He swung his legs out of bed. "Perhaps we'll share a pot of tea." Amos wound his alarm clock. "It's getting late," he said. "After all, We have a morning bus to catch. So Amos said good night to the elephant, and good night to the tortoise, and good night to the penguin, and good night to the rhinoceros, and good night to the owl, who, knowing that Amos was afraid of the dark, read a story aloud before turning out the light.
All right, so we have just heard about a sick day for Amos McGee and how when he was not feeling very well, his animal friends showed up for him. Notice how they had a plan of what they wanted to play, but when he was not feeling well, they changed their plan to include him. So this is an example of how we can be doing random acts of kindness and showing love to people in our lives. Please join me on Seesaw. We will find our task together. Please click on Activities, Assign to Class folder, light blue, SEL. Our task today is called Random Acts of Kindness. On slide number 1, we have a question about the author of this story. Our question says, what is the author's message? Another way to think about that is, what does the author want us to learn? What does the author want us to learn from the story called A Sick Day for Amos McGee? What is the message the author wants us to learn? I'm going to put you into a breakout room where you can talk about this and share your ideas. I then want you to write a complete sentence. The author's message is, finish your sentence by explaining what the lesson is that we should learn from the story. Are there any third graders who'd like to share out what they typed, what they wrote? The author's message is, Gloria?
If someone does something for you, you could give them something back.
If someone does something for you, you might give something back to that person. I love that idea. Landon?
The author messages that people are not the only, human beings are not the only people who are helpful. Animals can be helpful too.
Interesting. Thinking about how our sometimes show kindness to us. I feel that way about my dog. My dog seems to know when I'm having a rough day. Awesome. Let's go ahead and finish up our sentence for what the author's message is. Looking for complete sentences. Then we'll move to slide number 2. So take a minute to wrap up what the author's message is. On slide number 2, it's time to think about ourselves. It says our school is focused on random acts of kindness. Why do you think our school needs that? When we ask a why question, we're looking for a reason. Why is our school focused on acts of kindness this month? What would be a reason our school needs that? We're going to start sharing out what we think about our school, why our school, Indian Creek, needs to think about acts of kindness. Let's start with Nick.
For everybody to be friends.
Okay, we need everyone to work on being friends. Thank you, Nick, for sharing. Maberly, why do you think our school needs acts of kindness?
Because they want us to get along with each other, and they want us.
Thank you so much for sharing. Ashley.
I think that our school wants that because then we would all understand our feelings, and then we could also make friends. And it's super important to be kind because it could make someone happy. But just because someone is rude to you does not mean that you have to be rude to them back, because it could also hurt someone's feelings.
Thank you for sharing. Kaylee, why do you think our school needs to think about this acts of kindness topic? Kaylee Cole. Thank you for clarifying.
Because some kids might not have friends, some kids might be new, and they might be new to the school and they might not know nobody, and you should be responsible and be their friend and be at their back all times. And because if you want to be somebody's friend, you have to show them how the school is going to be, and show them how we do things here, and show responsible and safe at all times.
For sharing. I hear Kaylee mentioning what it means to be an example. Our school is an example to other kids. When there's somebody new at our school, we have to show them what it means to be safe, respectful, and responsible. Make sure your body is sitting quietly, please. It's hard to hear when others are moving around. Go ahead to slide number 3. We're going to wrap up our SEL today with thinking about what you can do to show kindness. Remember, we are building a kindness chain today. More importantly, your actions make other people feel loved and respected. What can you do today to show kindness? I want you to think of 2 ways that you can show kindness to people around you. Think about when you're on the bus. Think about when you are at home. Think about when you are in class. Think about when you go to specials. Think about when you are eating food with your family tonight. How can you show kindness today? Think of 2 reasons. Think of 2 ways and type it on slide number 3. Go ahead and turn in your SEL for today with the green check. Turn it in and keep thinking about how you can show kindness to your family and your friends today. That is so important that we continue to fill others' buckets.